Thelma Walker is the Labour MP for the Combe Valley and joins me on the Big Yorkshire phone-in. Well, Christina George from Hands Off HRI, Thelma, said she was gobsmacked. How are you?
Oh, I'm absolutely delighted, Liz. What great news. I mean, it's another step closer to success for campaigners and locals to save our hospital and community health services. So absolutely delighted. I mean, it's common sense prevailing at long last.
He hasn't said, the Health Secretary, you must not do this. He hasn't said that.
No, he hasn't. As I say, it's one step closer, and I think we should be very cautious. But the fact that he is listening to the advice, the Joint Health Scrutiny Committee rejected the plans and bounced them back. The independent reconfiguration panel's recommendations is listening to that advice. So I'm hearing this morning that it's going to be about 3 months to come up with further plans. So I think that we should be delighted about the events this morning. I think we should be cautious and we should consider, if there are changes to the plans, how is this going to be funded?
Yeah, well, because money's a deal here. Because Jeremy Hunt said in this letter, fundamentally, that the money wasn't there, the capital funding. It's not clear if that money would be available if the original plan that's on the table now, although it's been changed, goes ahead. So even if this plan doesn't go ahead, in 3 months, Thelma, they might come up with something else that the people are not happy with, including A&E not staying in Huddersfield. I mean, you've been talking to the clinical commissioning groups for ages. What do you think?
I have.
What do you think they're going to do?
Well, I mean, the thing is, there is a judicial review planned between the 12th and 14th of June as well that campaigners have worked tirelessly to raise funds for. So that is still on the cards. So, the fight isn't over yet. And I know these campaigners. I've worked with them for several years now. I mean, they came down to Parliament in February and met with Jeremy Corbyn and met with Jonathan Ashworth, the Shadow Health Secretary. And they had their full backing from, not just the Labour MPs, but from the leader of the Labour Party and the Shadow Health Secretary. So we are watching this very carefully and we're making sure that we're still committed to this judicial review. But, I am so delighted for the campaigners, for local people, and the fact that, we local people should be listened to. It's not in the best interest of local people, and I'm one of them. It's my hospital too. And it's about community services as well.
All right, let's just focus on the fact, if we can, put the campaigns, the emotion, the success, the tease from the Health Secretary, I'm going to call it that, Jeremy Hunt. But at the root of this is £31 million, which was the saving that would have been made. Now, that saving isn't going away. So it raises bigger questions about the finance of this, and if it doesn't happen between Huddersfield and that's still 31 million quid, a black hole.
It is, but it's also about looking at early intervention and, community health, because we have an awful lot of our senior citizens who are stuck in hospital beds that should be being looked after out in the community. And we can prevent people from having to be kept in hospital beds if we've got that proper community care where our senior citizens are looked after. And the savings from that, we're also paying massive amounts in agency fees because we have a shortage of nurses in our hospitals.
Let me ask you, all right, hang on one moment, Thelma. Let me briefly now ask you two things. What would you like to say to Jeremy Hunt, and what would you like to say to the clinical commissioning group? Jeremy Hunt first.
Yeah, well, Jeremy Hunt, I'm really pleased that he's taking the advice of the independent reconfiguration panel. I'm really pleased he's at long last listening to me, having asked him in the chamber several times, if he would listen to local people. And I would say to him, that he needs to put the money forward. He needs to invest in our health services. It's 70 years old this year, and we value local people, and nationally people value our excellent NHS services.
Okay, and to the clinical commissioning groups, Thelma, with whom you've been parleying, and now they've got this to deal with and a judicial review. What would you like to say to them?
Say, please use common sense, listen to the will of local people and campaigners, and make that provision. Consider local people, consider the services that we need, and use your common sense.
Thank you very much indeed. She's delighted. Thelma Walker, the Labour MP for the Colne Valley on the Big Yorkshire Phone.